everyone. This is Star Wars Connection. Today we're going to talk about the box office of Solo. My name is Denise and I'm here with Lee.
Hi guys, it's Lee and I'm here with Denise. Yay! Everybody's been wondering where you were, Denise.
I was hiding. I was like Obi-Wan.
Well, we're glad to have you back.
There is a review coming. Some of us are going to talk about it. We're just going to talk about the box office performance, which wasn't terrible by any means. What do you think?
I think it was pretty terrible, but it's not like the end of the world, you know. Like, I think it's really funny when you hear people talking about the same thing. Sometimes they take extreme positions to counter each other. Like, you know how sometimes reverse psychology works for that reason. Like, sometimes the more you stick to a viewpoint, the more the other person will stick to their viewpoint until it becomes an exaggeration and has no resemblance to the truth. Like the people who are saying, this is devastating, this is the worst box office ever, Lucasfilm is over, Star Wars is dead. I mean, really? Seriously? Like, Disney's worth billions of dollars. They have a lot of money. Sure, they didn't make as much money as they were hoping for, but it's not the end of anything. So, and it's not true that, and I say this as a TLJ hater, it's not true that the haters in any way, I think, influence the results, you know, for Solo. No. There's a few people who boycotted the movie, but in the grand scheme of things, I think that had very little impact. I saw a very interesting article on Forbes that was saying that the fandom fatigue, franchise fatigue thing also is not really a main factor here because other franchises have done similar things like Marvel and they haven't, you know, had this low showing. So I think we have to look more at Solo itself as the problem. The fact that it's a character, like you were saying, Denise, to me off air, that it's just not that appealing, right? To broadly, to a lot of people, they adore him.
Generations.
But it's a generational thing. So, but by the other token, we have people saying, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything at all. It's completely unimportant that they made way less money than they were hoping for and that they're probably not going to make a profit out of this movie because it cost $250 million to make and at least $150 million to market. They make 60% out of every ticket sold and then the rest they have to share it, you know, with the movie theater. So they're not going to recover their profit more than likely. Yeah, that means something. That is important. It's just not the end of the world. But to me, it is a humbling thing for Lucasfilm, and hopefully they'll reconsider some things, like this idea about fast food kind of deep-fried Star Wars.
That's another problem, yeah. Because, that's one thing I think, you know, they did Obi-Wan. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking they did Han Solo. But, you know, like my son, for example, Han Solo is that old dude that comes out in The Last Jedi. He has no clue who Han Solo is. And he gets confused with Luke and everything. And, you know, okay, fine, do a freaking Han Solo movie. But, you know, if you watch the trailer, have something that, you know, that makes it interesting. Instead, it's like, oh, watch Han Solo become Han Solo. But what if I don't have a clue who Han Solo is? Which is a lot of people. They have a clue, but they don't love it. And also, for example, you know, Han Solo is a super good pilot, but you watch the trailer. I'm talking about the trailer because it's about Buzz and everything, and it's a train action. You want to see space action, Star Wars, you know? And also, I agree with you with this fast food thing, you know, because it's a light movie, popcorn movie. But should Star Wars be popcorn movies?
Yeah.
What do you think?
And this thing about, like, dishing out a new movie every year, like, really? It's not a conveyor belt, you know. We don't need necessarily that much Star Wars content all the time. It's not Marvel. It's a different franchise. So maybe they need to reconsider that approach a little bit. And the other thing is maybe they should think about what projects they want to roll out first. Because a movie, like you said, like Han Solo, they have a big problem because a lot of people like Han Solo that are into the OT, but he's not the main draw for a lot of people, right? And then there are people who really love him who are upset that it's not, that Harrison Ford can't jump back in time and be 25 again. And they're upset about that, and they don't want to see somebody else be Han Solo.
But I'm one of these people that doesn't want to see, you know what my problem was? That I thought they were going to put a young actor, like 20 or something, you know, but they put someone that's almost the same age. It's just jarring, you know. I know, like, once you get in the movie, it changes, but you see that, you know, and if they had chosen someone, like, I don't know, 20, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So
because he's really near the age that Harrison Ford was when they were filming.
He looks completely
right?
different,
Yeah.
and he's not. I mean, he's a good actor, but it's very jarring. So if you love Han Solo, you have that, and you're gonna like Harrison Ford's portrayal of Han Solo as well. So it is a little jarring,
Yeah.
and
I think that this movie is more for like the Star Wars fans who will watch anything Star Wars, and not everybody's like that. Like personally,
No.
I haven't watched it. I'm probably not gonna go watch it. Like I'm probably gonna watch it on Netflix or on my next plane ride. Like I'm not gonna go and see it. So I don't know, but I have to tell you this: my mom and my aunts, they saw it and they really loved it. They thought it was fun, and like just not anything serious, just like a fun kind of popcorn flick, like you said. So it has its own market. Maybe it wasn't the right time to release it, but I read in the Forbes article there wasn't really a right time this year, because in December there's a whole bunch of other movies coming out with Disney. I think the Mary Poppins movie's coming out and whatever. So it's like, okay, sure. I guess that they had to release it now, but there are people who are they're not like hardcore Star Wars fans, so they don't need to see 2 Star Wars movies in 6 months. But I don't think that's the majority of people. I think there were a lot of factors here to appreciate. Now, can you understand why they're doing the Boba Fett movie? Like, why on earth?
I don't understand. But
That's
one thing that I found with Solo was the marketing was, this is Star Wars, so we're going to watch it, and that's not how it works. Now for Boba Fett, I actually think that Boba Fett fans don't even want a Boba Fett movie, right? Because what you like about it is like the mystery and stuff. Do you want to unpack that and tell a story? I mean, really? And it's confirmed.
It's
right?
weird. It's like we have so many other cool people that you can focus on, and instead you do this character. I mean, it's not that it's bad. I have to say, I actually am very into like Mandalorian stuff, their culture and their lore, because of watching Rebels, and I really like Sabine Wren. So I'm gonna go watch it. I'm not gonna watch it, but at the same time, it's like, really, that's what you picked? And then here you have, Ewan McGregor wants to be Obi-Wan again. He is the original young Obi-Wan, and he still is at an age where he could do it. He wants to do it. People want to see him. You were saying earlier, it's one of those characters that's in every material. He's in every Star Wars. It's a very unique...
That's the thing with the new generation. They saw him in the Clone Wars, in Rebels, in the prequels. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, there are Obi-Wan haters out there, because you see all kinds of things in the world, but that's not the majority of people. Most people actually really like Obi-Wan, or at least are okay with him and would go see a movie. So I don't understand why they're delaying that.
But there are some theories rolling around. Spoiler for those who haven't seen Solo or haven't seen, because Darth Maul shows up in Solo, and some people have been saying that maybe that's a preparation to have a Obi-Wan movie, because that's his enemy, and you would have like a movie showdown of, and I guess they would have to kind of retcon the Rebels thing, but I think maybe there's a chance that they're thinking about it.
Maybe. But, and I know that this is something that is unseemly and upsetting for people to hear in the Reylo community, but I'm a Reylo who actually is still a Kenobiist. I don't think that Rey is a nobody. I'm gonna throw that in as a prediction. I do think that Rey is Obi-Wan's granddaughter, and I think that it's still possible that they'll tie in the Obi-Wan movie with the ST, with Episode 9. If it's revealed that Kylo Ren thought he was telling Rey the truth about her parents, but he was wrong, and really those were her adoptive parents or whatever. The drunks that died in an unmarked grave. I don't think that's really her real origin. So I see an opportunity for them to tie in Obi-Wan at a later date. But it's just frustrating as an Obi-Wan fan to hear, like everybody's getting a movie.
Okay, I'm an Obi-Wan fan, but I really don't think that Rey's. I mean, I really don't think there is anything there, because the parallels because 90% of the evidence is based on parallels, and everybody. The
evidence is based on him saying, "Rey, these are your first steps." Like, why would he do that?
But there's also Yoda. You know,
Yoda wasn't talking to Rey. Yoda was talking to Luke.
Come on, but no, Yoda. I mean, Yoda when he came and talked in her vision, and you have like I think JJ saying, "Oh, I wanted these forces from the Force thing and these Force ghosts there."
Do you know that they actually had to do tons of work to make this Force ghost say, "Rey, these are your first steps"? That has to mean something. Whether they abandoned that storyline or not, I don't know. But I see it actually as a really good opportunity for them to appease the people that were really pissed about Rey being a nobody. That actually doesn't really bother me. It's not what I want, but it's not what I'm angry about with regard to The Last Jedi. Whatever. It doesn't. There are bigger problems. But a lot of people were really, really furious that Rey is a nobody. And even Rian Johnson was saying that it's a possibility that that's going to be changed later on. He left room for that to happen. So, I'm just saying it's a possibility and something I
gotta
want.
Gotta believe. Keep on believing, no problem.
But I know that like 99% of the Reylos listening are like, no, we don't want Rey to be anybody but Rey nobody. And I understand it. I get it. It's nice to think that anybody can be, important, but it's also nice for people who love the OT and who don't feel that it was well represented in The Last Jedi to get some kind of, retribution. So we'll see.
But I don't think it needs to be through parentage, but I think just the fact first of all, for the movies, since we're talking about Solo, I'm actually surprised that they're surprised that it wasn't a box office hit, like seriously. But I think they really should be thinking about it, like when they do it, if to make it appealing to everybody, even for people who don't know Star Wars.
That's a good point, Denise. Like, really, is it so shocking that Solo was not that successful? Like, it was a train wreck to in the making of, right? We heard all this horrible, like bad publicity about the firing of the directors and even the actors saying that it was not good what they were doing. And then the fact that the marketing wasn't that good either. It was like they had a good trailer, but you didn't really see.
There was no hook in the trailer.
Yeah, there was no hook in the trailer, and then the whole thing with the actor not being really like somebody that everybody was on board with. So there were a lot of issues with Solo, and it being a Han movie where again it's just not a universally interesting character to everyone. So I don't understand why people were thinking this was gonna gross, like in the level of The Force Awakens. Like, how is that? How does that make any sense?
And I think that's the last one they have to get. They want to do a Boba Fett movie, do the Boba Fett movie, but either make it appealing to everybody or make it, lower the budget, whatever. But, I'm going to say something else in terms of Solo. I don't feel that, for me, I don't know, I don't feel that Star Wars movies should be popcorn movies. I think even I know they're like anthology movies. They're not the main. They're not the Force. But I think, even like, for example, for the Clone Wars, there are many episodes that were not Force related, but they still had some depth, some idea, something,
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I don't know how deep Han Solo movie is because I haven't watched it, as I said. But it's not so much about Han Solo, but about the idea of them, like, just, having some kind of a conveyor belt where they keep rolling out Star Wars movies every year without, like, standalone things and, like, just to have a Star Wars thing out there. It's like, I don't like that idea so much. I do want more Star Wars stuff, but not to the point where it becomes just a marketing ploy, I was reading that Solo might recover profit that was lost with the Force showing through the merchandising, through the stuff that they're selling that's Solo themed. But that's not really what we want Star Wars to be, right? I'm sure Disney does. But so I think they really have to rethink this approach. Hopefully they will.
Yeah. I hope they do. I had no cause. Except, like, for me, my problem with the actor is just, for me, it's jarring, I am a fan of the old trilogy. I'm not a huge fan of Han Solo, but I like him. It's just jarring, and it's weird. So it's not appealing for me as a Han Solo fan to watch the movie. So I don't know, who the heck are you appealing for, Okay, so this was it. Thank you very much for listening. If you like it, you leave a like, leave a comment. I'd love to hear opinions. You can send us an email as well. We're also on Tumblr and Twitter. Thank you very much for listening, and may the Force be with you.